violence, and hatred are the attributes of a sick society.
Who the hell's he?
Peter Norman.
Peter Norman.
Peter Norman. Peter Norman is flying on the outside.
I guess I'd just like to be thought of as an interesting old guy.
There were two Olympic teams. There was the white athletes and the black athletes.
I don't think any of these boys will be foolish enough to demonstrate at the Olympic Games.
Nobody knew what it was going to be.
All I can say is you can expect almost anything.
I was just sick.
For him to take a stance during the Black Revolution from Australia, I thought that was fantastic.
There's this guy from Australia called Peter Norman. Who the hell's he?
A new Olympic record to Peter Norman of Australia. Peter Norman easily third.
Every time he stepped on the track, he was running better.
This is the hottest 200-meter field ever assembled.
Peter Norman is an enigma to me because he came from nowhere.
This was life and death.
They said, you're not in the team. I believe in human rights.
No way somebody I never heard of from Australia was going to split them up.
I'm sick to death of hearing your anthem.
It's a pleasure for me to know Peter, and it's a pleasure for my people to know Peter Norman.
And if you have something to say, you have to say it. You can't wait and say, I wish I'd said that. I wish I'd done that.
Now, just caught a trailer of a fantastic Aussie doco called Salute, and we have a great privilege to have here with us on Flicktease tonight a writer, director, producer, Matt Norman. Thanks for being on the show, Matt.
Thank you. Pleasure to be
Welcome
here.
to Perth. Your first time?
I absolutely have to say, this place rocks.
That's good to hear.
The people here are absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, first time here, I'm loving it.
Glad to have you, and look, congratulations on the doco. Personally, for me, thumbs up, of course, but I walked out of that movie lots of different emotions. I was moved, inspired, but I was really infuriated by the topic, and I guess that's what you want out of this movie?
I think if we can inspire a younger generation to start looking at this film in more of a updated version of events to what's happening in this day and age, especially at the Olympic Games and things that are happening overseas with Tibet, etc., then that's what we actually want to do. We want to actually put a name of this guy, being the white guy in the Black Power protest photo. We want to give him a name as Peter Norman, which a lot of people actually don't understand that he's an Aussie.
Sure.
And so I've grown up with Peter. And having to tell all my mates, my uncle's famous, he's the white guy in the photo, the Black Power protest photo, which, believe it or not, is in the top 3 of the 20th century.
Yeah.
And the other 2 are moon landing and JFK's assassination.
Wow.
So to have, that seems to be his only record, is that one photo. But Peter, to me, is a lot different. He's the guy I've grown up with, and he still holds all these records in Australia and the Commonwealth, and so I just think he needs to be recognised.
You're right, it's a multifaceted doco because it's an illuminating history lesson, that's for sure. I didn't know any of this. And also it's a timely look at politics with the Olympic Games, and very timely. And of course, as you mentioned, talking about your uncle, it's a real profile of a criminally underrated and heroic Aussie sprinter, Peter Norman. Yes. And that was your main objective to making that movie, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to research Peter's life a lot more for upcoming films that I wanted to do. When Peter died, obviously, the objective changed a lot, and the interest grew a lot, because suddenly we've got this great Australian athlete and civil rights activist that has passed away. No one took the time to get to know him before he died, where I'd just finished 70 hours of footage shooting over in LA and here in Australia to actually get to know him as my uncle,
Yeah.
to actually try and to teach people that know nothing about him what I know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the objective was to teach people about my uncle, really, and it started personal, and it's ended up being a much bigger and better project to highlight a few of our own issues that we've got in the world today.
Sure. Now, it's obviously a labour of love, this project. Can you tell us about some of the hurdles to getting this made and how long it took you, etc.?
Okay, it took 6 years to make. The hurdles were many.
Yeah.
I started with no budget, and I had to go and hire a camera. Then I tried to get sponsorship, which I got for a camera, and then I had to try and sucker all my mates in to come and help me, which I did. Ended up being a sponsorship film. Like the Americans were fantastic. They got us over to America to shoot it, put us up in these makeshift studios, which were just a hotel room. Anytime we saw a 68 Olympian, we grabbed them, yanked them in and said, my name's Matt Norman, this is Peter Norman. Oh my God, Peter Norman's here.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we just got them talking, and now it's turned out into this great feature film that has taken 6 years. But yeah, we went through a lot of heartache. I suppose the biggest heartache we went through was losing Pete halfway through.
Yeah.
So that became a very difficult challenge, to be honest, to do a film about my mate and my uncle, and to see him on the screen every day. Even when he died, I was busy getting a screener for the funeral.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was very difficult.
Last question. We always ask our guests on Flicktease, sorry to do this to without any warning, but we're all film enthusiasts and thought, can I ask you your favourite film or films of all time, or even influences to finish off? That's a tough one.
No, that's an easy one.
Oh,
actually.
good.
I've got a few actually. Gallipoli would have to be one of my favourite of all time. And One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is one of my favourite international.
Immense taste, this man has, I tell you.
Yeah. And A Clockwork Orange. Anything Stanley Kubrick is pretty much there. Anything Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, because they did it the hard way, just like what I seem to be doing. But I would say the old Star Wars and the old Superman movies.
Yeah, the originals, hey?
Yeah, the real stuff.
The good ones.
Yeah, the real stuff.
Look, thanks for being on the show, Matt. Really appreciate it, and good luck for the movie Salute. I know it's going to do really well. Make sure you get out and see it on July the 17th. Everyone, thanks again.
Thank you, mate.
Terrific interview there. Gav, congratulations, mate. Interesting subject matter.
It is. This is a movie people got to go out and see, called Salute. We spoke to the director, Matt Norman, about his departed uncle, Peter Norman. Have you ever heard of him, guys, before this movie?
I haven't, until I read the buzz about this movie, no.
Australian silver medalist.
Overlooked.
Silver medalist at the Olympics, and for lots of different reasons, unheralded. It's not just about him, but on the eve of Beijing Olympics, definitely worth seeing. Full price plus GST. Cos, you agree?
Oh yes, I agree. It was a terrific documentary, and I was riveted throughout, and it's very resonant, I think, for the moment, because of the civil rights issue that he stood up on the podium about, and it's very sad that he has now died without the recognition that he may have